It had been raining for weeks, and everywhere was wet and rather damp. None of the engines didn't want to go out, but passengers and trucks were waiting. One morning, when the rain had stopped, James was at the station with his stopping train. He noticed Thomas and Percy shunting in the yards. "What are you two doing here?" he asked. "Shouldn't you be on your branch line?" "This rotten weather is causing problems," grumbled Thomas. "One of the river banks had burst and flooded the line by the windmill, so the Fat Controller told us that we must stay here and shunt trucks." "It's a good thing your line's closed then. We big engines are far too important to take such dirty trucks from those dirty sidings." "I don't see why you're laughing, James. The Fat Controller wants you to take a milk train after you finish your stopper." "What, me?" snorted James. "Me take those dirty trucks from those dirty sidings?" "Yes." "I won't." "Well, you have to do what the Fat Controller tells you. Orders are orders after all," said Percy. "Pah!" scoffed James. "I'm the brightest red engine on the railway, and you'll never, ever catch me pulling those dirty, miserable things." Just then the guard blew his whistle, and James steamed away. "Dirty trucks from dirty siding, blech!" he grumbled. "They don't ask Gordon to pull those ugly-looking containers. It's just, well, ugh, it's just ridiculous." James was still cross when he reached the next station. "Leave the coaches now and fetch the milk train." "I don't want to pull those dirty trucks, so there." "Come on, James, we have to do as we are told." "Easy for you to say." James was uncoupled and went onto the turntable to be turned round for his journey back to Knapford. His driver thought he had put James's brakes on properly, but he hadn't. Suddenly, James rolled backwards too quickly and rolled into a siding. James was not badly hurt, but the buffers were damaged and his tender was covered in dirt. Luckily, Edward came to pull James out, while Boko took James's stopper. The Fat Controller was there. "Dearie me, James, I should have known all this trouble was caused by you. I thought you were better than this." "Yes, sir, I'm sorry, sir, but it wasn't all his fault, sir," interrupted the driver, and he told him about the brakes. "Right, well, I'm happy that you're both safe, but just be thankful that I haven't given you the sack," said the Fat Controller. Yes, sir." "Now off you go before anything else occurs." And with that, James set off back to Knapford. He collected the trucks and puffed slowly out. "I see you decided to pull dirty trucks after all," chuckled Thomas cheekily the next day. "It can't be James, Thomas," said Percy. "He said red engines are far too bright and important for goods work, and you'll never catch him pulling trucks."
"I heard from Edward that you had a second mud bath, James," Gordon replied. "Oh well, we live and learn, I suppose. But then again, for an engine of your calibre, I don't think that's very likely."
James pretended he hadn't heard them. He thought the others were being very immature indeed.